little something I tried a while ago. It's a carbon arc lamp, which essentially consists of some bits of 10 gauge solid copper wire bent into a very particular shape and then stapled down to a piece of wood. And on the ends I've sort of crimped on these copper-clad steel clamps. I took Grant Thompson's advice and pulled apart some old lantern batteries, and out of them I got some carbon rods, and I hooked these ends up to a car battery, a 12-volt car battery, and I got a pretty damn bright arc out of it. Bright enough to see out of a welding mask, bright enough to burn off all the wax. Well, not bright enough, but hot enough to burn off all the wax there. But yeah, this was just sort of a weekend project that I threw together in a Sunday afternoon project that I threw together in 15 minutes and gave it a try, and it worked quite well. The one thing is I noticed 12 volts isn't really enough to keep a steady arc, over some distance, because basically usually what you do is if you have, say, 30, 40 volts, once the arc has started, there's a certain amount of plasma that develops between the tips, and so you can spread them wider and wider apart, and because plasma is electrons have been chucked out of the atoms, it conducts, right? It's much more conductive than just air. And so you can spread the electrodes apart, and it will the arc will it's basically the plasma, very, very hot, throwing off light across a gap. But with 12 volts, there really isn't enough potential to jump the gap. And so I'm thinking now with my welder, I might be able, if I just hooked it up to here, to get a much more steady arc. And also, since the battery is, of course, DC, you get uneven heating of the electrodes. So as you can see here, this one, the right one became much more eroded than the left one. So that's something that an AC welder will also take care of. But that was a cool little project, and it seemed to work pretty well. The wiring didn't heat up at all, which probably means it wasn't drawing more than about 20, 30 amps.
On? 2 on. Oh my god. Peanut, this is something else.
How bright is it?
Oh my god, it's bright as a daylight.
Alright, can you turn them off? Or just